The hardest part of getting back to filming is just turning on the camera. I've been away for a while and I want to tell you about that and tie it in to a topic that is very, very important for us parents. So stay tuned. We as moms often put ourselves last, but we have to take care of ourselves first so that we can take care of those around us. And that's what I needed to do in the past 4 months. The video that I just put out a few days ago was a video that I filmed while I was on vacation with my sister. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. Anyways, we did a great interview, but we took 100 minutes of footage, and I knew that there was going to have to be a lot of editing to do. I wasn't looking forward to it, but I had no intention of it taking 4 months. Well, when we got back from vacation, several things happened all at once. One thing is that I started swimming lessons. Yes, I learned to swim. It's never too late, never too old to learn. So I learned to swim. I took swimming lessons every day for 2 weeks, and I actually learned to swim. I'm very glad that I did it, but it did take up some time. At that very same time, starting on the very same day, I started a very healthy eating plan. And as you may know, if you have ever tried to switch your diet to something healthy, it does take more time to prepare healthy food. And so it just took a lot of time every day, making sure that I had healthy food. And then it was time to get ready for school to start. And while I'm not teaching in the classroom, there is a lot for me to do. So for all of my students, I try to meet before school or the first week of school with all the teachers and the parents. And for my older kids, I try to get together the kids with the teachers so they can present their accommodation plan. And I have a video about that I'll link below. And I need to do a follow-up on that because it has gone really, really well. So anyways, at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of meetings, I have to schedule things. So it's all kind of hectic. Plus, I'm often usually starting a new student or two. There's a lot of extra things to take care of with that. We also had something new this year for us, which was my son played soccer. He was on the junior varsity team at our school. And so that was a lot of practices for us to take him to, plus the games, and just kind of making sure that he was always ready for that, that his uniform was always clean, and water bottles were ready to go and everything. So that was a new experience for us, and it was just another thing that I had to take care of. And then was it September, I think? Yeah, we actually had 2 hurricanes come through. One of them moved extremely slowly, and so we were actually prepping for at least a week. And by the time it got to our area, it hardly did anything, but we had absolutely no way of knowing. So it looked like it was just going to come roaring right through our state. And having been through a super typhoon before, when we lived in Guam, I knew that I did not want to be caught unprepared. And so I spent a lot of time preparing, and then it didn't get there, it didn't get there, it didn't get there. It slowed down and practically stopped. I mean, it was literally moving 2 miles an hour. And it went a different path than what they had projected, and so by the time that it finally got to us, it dumped some rain, and then it just all of a sudden took off after it got to us, and it was over. But that was like a whole nother week of prepping. And then, what was it, about a week later, we had another come through from a different direction, and it moved through there so fast we didn't even know what hit us. And that was actually kind of a scary experience. Nobody was ready, nobody was prepared. And so anyways, that threw things off for several days after that. Just with different places not having power and schools being out sometimes, and there was a lot of flooding. So things were just off. And then the final thing that made this fall kind of off was the fact that our church sanctuary was being renovated. Now, the school where I go to work with many of my students is a school that is a ministry of our church. So it's all in the same set of buildings. And the room where I work is actually in the church building just off the sanctuary. And so as soon as they started the demo, I had to move. And so I moved to a different room temporarily with just the things that I needed. And then I knew that I would eventually go back and get the rest of it, but I just want to take, the minimal amount that I needed for that time that I was going to be away, those few weeks that the renovations were going to take. But then in the meantime, a while after I'd been in that room for a couple of weeks, they decided to move me to a different room that would be my room permanently. So I had to move again. And so I moved everything that I had moved to the temporary room. Plus I had to go and dig out all of my stuff that was now covered with dust, clean it, and move it over to the new room. So there was just a lot of upheaval. I had a student that started who was brand new. I had a student who I screened and they were going to have me tutor, and then the mom decided to do it herself, which I thought was a fantastic idea since she's a homeschool mom. But it just made everything a little crazy this year. It's like things were all in different places. I play in the church orchestra. I always had to make sure that I went and got the music because everything was buried in the church under dust and things were all moved around. So with all of that going on, I just lost complete motivation to work on anything, the extra dyslexia things that I do. So I didn't work on my book. I didn't work on my YouTube channel. And I never did edit that video until just like a week ago. It was just kind of crazy. But anyways, that brings me around to the point of what this video is that sometimes there's times in our life when we have to kind of take a step back. There's just too much going on and we just can't do it all. And that's okay. Self-care is very, very important for everybody, but it's particularly important if you have a child who has some kind of special need and you feel like you're totally like giving them so much. You might have to have lots of meetings. You might have to take them to lots of appointments. You might have to give a lot of extra time during homework time to helping or to acting as a scribe, typing things out. You can't forget to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be in any shape to take care of anybody else. So that's what I've been doing, is I just focused on healthy eating. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but I have actually lost 20 pounds as a result in the past 4 months, and I am feeling good. I don't think it's super noticeable, like in my face, but I know that I have lost a lot of weight because almost all of my clothes are too big. I had to just set those aside and go and get some new ones because nothing was fitting anymore. So that's a good problem to have. So, and I am like done with eating junk. In case you're curious how I did it, and this, shouldn't be about my diet, but if you want to know a good way to take care of yourself, you're probably curious. So I will say that I cut out sugar and all sweeteners of any kind. No artificial, no honey, no maple syrup. So no sweeteners at all. No dairy and no gluten. And I have stuck with it except for a few times of eating out when I really didn't have much of a choice on, I picked what was best, the best choices available, and so there was a little bit of sugar in some of those things. But for the most part, I stuck to the plan, and I'm feeling good. And I will probably eventually add in some natural things here and there, like maple syrup and honey, but for the most part, I don't have any desire for it. I'm feeling really good with my loading up my plate with vegetables. I'm even feeling good enough that I want to start exercising, so I have started doing some yoga. I want to work on my flexibility. So I just want to be in the best shape possible to take the best care of my family and to be a good example to the rest of my family. So we dyslexia mamas can't do it all. We might try, but we might find ourselves getting sick if we're not careful. So this confessions video is just a time for me to let you know where I've been and that I am going to start making videos on a regular basis now. I have jumped back into writing again and have written quite a bit in the past couple weeks, just in little pockets of time that I have between students. If I don't have a student for like an hour, then I'll make sure I have my laptop with me and just spend that time writing without any other distractions around. And to give you permission to say no to some things for a while, to take a step back and take care of yourself. It's not a selfish thing to take care of yourself. You need to take care of the body that you've been given so that you can take care of the people who have been given to you. So I hope that this has been an encouragement to you and that you will be back real soon. The next video that I have planned is another confessions video, and it's about homework. So I will see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.